Hello, and thanks for joining me at Clear into Balance. My name is Jamie. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. And I remind you of your power as a spirit having this human experience, that you're able to shift and change your reality in any way that you want. So I was just thinking about this and felt to make a video about it because I am so grateful and appreciative of my past self. My past self is the person who got me here today. And I'm so appreciative that she kept going, because honestly, life kept throwing so many obstacles my way that at times I just didn't know what to do. Like, there were times that it got me so low that I didn't know how to function within that. I had a hard time coping. I was just so depressed at times in my life. And honestly, it's a real miracle that I'm here. It really is. And people see me now and see how I am now, and I'm a different person than I was then. Okay, vastly different person than I was then. I'm a vastly different person than I was a year ago, or even a couple months ago, or even last week. Okay, rapid change and transformation over here. So yeah, I was just thinking about that, and it wasn't because she was some superhero or any different than anyone else. It's just that my past self kept going. And sometimes that's all we need to do when life is tough and throwing things at us and we just feel bombarded from our reality. Sometimes all we need to do is just keep going, is to just keep putting one foot in front of the next, in front of the next. To live each moment versus putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to think ahead. Because sometimes in those darkest moments that I had, I couldn't think that far ahead without getting really overwhelmed. So I would have to just think moment to moment, day to day. I would look for things to appreciate day to day. And there were times where I threw that practice out the window. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and pretend like I practiced that every day up until now and all. No. There were times where I just threw all practices that I'd learned that helped me out the window, because all I could do was just get by in that moment. It's all I could handle at the moment. And if that's where you are, I just want to say that some of my best moments have come since those times. And our mind will do this thing where it tricks you into thinking that it's always going to be that way, that you're always going to be feeling those negative emotions, that you're always going to feel as down as you do, that you're always going to be as sick as you are, or as in much pain as you are. And I'm proof that that's not the case. And I had lots of things going on with me, with my health and chronic illness, that I've overcome since then. And my past self couldn't see where I was going, couldn't see that there truly was going to be change. But the one common thread that I had from then and now is that I believed things could change. I believed things could change. I just kept holding on to that hope, that everything would shift, that things would change. And, really got the most hope once I found holographic kinetics, because it gave me a way to clear things at the spirit level, to start actually noticing real change versus just being mindful or being aware that I had something going on, to be mindful of thoughts I had going on. But holographic kinetics actually gave me the outlet that I needed to shift dimensions in time that were creating the realities that I wasn't enjoying. And for me too, my past self, one of my biggest motivators in this life has been my son. Literally, he helped save my life. And I know I take responsibility for saving my own life, because I chose to make changes and I chose to do the things I did. But there were so many times where I felt depressed, for instance, where it was really hard to get out of bed. My life was so stressful at that time that the motivation I had was to be a good mom to him and to be there for him and to not just lay in bed and cry all day like sometimes I felt like doing. But we would get up, we would get out of the house, we would get to story time, we would get to the park, we would get outside, we'd get to the ocean, like all these different things that I did because I wanted him to have a good experience and I wanted to be a good mom to him, really helped pull me through to this side where I'm at now. That was huge. And maybe you have a child or you have someone in your life that kind of like is a light that sort of pulls you through sometimes. And I think that's okay because sometimes when we're really in it, we just need that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of a nudge to tell us that things are going to shift, that things can get better from where we're at. And that's everything. That was everything to my past self. Just having that inner hope that things would get better. That if I just kept at it and kept clearing and kept being made aware of what was creating my reality and kept making those changes and getting really responsible for my reality and my actions towards making changes and being different and therefore shifting my reality, like that was everything. And, you know, I'm sure there are times where you can look back in your life and see times where you're just like, how did I get through that? Like, how did I even manage back then? But here you are. Here you are. And one of my favorite things, which is like a quote that you see online now, but back when I first heard it, it was from my sister. One of my favorite things that was ever said to me was that I had survived 100% of my worst days so far. And that gave me so much strength in that moment. And it was so just like this, oh, it's like, that's so true. But sometimes we forget, you know, how far we've come, where we've been, and we forget that we've actually survived our worst days. Like we're still here. Even if we're still dealing with things we don't like, we're still here. We still keep going, you know? And I think that's just really important to stop and acknowledge. And today I was just like filled with appreciation for my past self, and I just wanted to share this with you to say, you know, you're not alone. You're never alone. As a previous nurse, I took care of thousands of people in the hospital, and everyone is dealing with something. Everyone is dealing with things that we know nothing about, which is why it's so important to be kind to others, because we never know what somebody is going through. And you know, one of the clearest examples of this stands out to me is from an old friend of mine from school who told me at one point after her brother had passed away she said after it happened, she went to the store and everybody was just going about their lives and just acting like everything was just normal. And here her whole life had shattered because they were very, very close. And she just couldn't believe that the world just kept going. And so here she was just there to make a purchase or, you know, do whatever she was doing. And inside she was just crying. And, you know, that's a reality for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are going through things right now that we can't see. And so it's just really important to remember that, you know, that one, we've got to be kind because we never know what somebody is dealing with. And two, that, you know, I totally forgot what I was saying. That we're never alone. That's what I meant to say. That we're never alone. We're never alone in our struggles. We're never alone in our joys. Like there are people experiencing what we're experiencing out there. We're not just on our own. We're not just outside of the norm. We're not experiencing something unique to us. Like the human experience is one with a lot of different, varied, contrasting experiences. And we are never alone in anything that we go through. And I met so many people while working in the hospital that were dealing with so many things. And it just, that was the common thread that stood out to me the most, is like, We are never alone in anything that we're going through. So my message to you today is really just keep going. Keep going. All your past, all your, sorry, all your future self needs you to do in this moment is to keep going. That's it. Maybe today is one where you just get out of bed, you eat, you drink. And that's all you can muster. That is okay. Because at the end of the day, down the road, all that's going to matter is that you kept going. So I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I appreciate you being here. Like and subscribe if this resonates with you so that it can reach people that it needs to reach. And I'll see you in the next video.